Robert Altman is one of the country's great filmmakers, known as a maverick in the industry. He has battled with the studios to bring his vision to the screen. For over 30 years, his films have broken with convention. They include MASH and Nashville, The Player, and more recently, Pret-a-Porter. His new film, Kansas City, takes place in 1934 and brings together some of the leading jazz artists of our time. I am pleased to have Robert Altman back at this table. Welcome, sir.
Thank you.
Harry Belafonte's been here talking about it. How did was that you let Harry write a lot of his script?
No, I made him write.
Ah,
I made him do it. No, Harry and I talked about this. This project goes back about 8 or 10 years. The little story, the song of the two women, and then.
Now, well, tell me about the song of the two women, because we'll talk more about how who the two women are and what they do. But
well,
what's the song?
Well, I mean, the picture was their
picture,
song.
Right,
it was
right,
like to me, the whole film is jazz.
Right.
And the whole film is structured like jazz, even though there's this melodrama going through it, the main line. But to me, like, that's the lyrics. That's 3 minutes. That's the lyrics of the song. They captured my baby, and so I went and captured this woman, and I'm going to trade one for the other, but it didn't work blues.
Right.
That's the lyrics. But then the film is jazz. So once we've set the little tune and the lyrics, then all of these players, actors, do they're not real improvisations, but they are in many ways. The two girls are like two tenor saxophones talking to each other. Belafonte's like a trumpet.
Yeah, but most of your films are like that, aren't they?
Well, I don't know, but jazz is so hard to use as film music because it has such an insistent voice that you can't just put it in the background anywhere because it comes out so I've always tried to use jazz. I mean, it's my favorite. It's my music. I like it. And I suddenly realized that instead of making a movie about jazz players, I would just make the movie jazz.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what we did.
Just a sidelight here. You took some of the unedited footage, the footage that didn't use, of the jam sessions, and it's being shown downtown in New York somewhere.
Yeah, well, we have it. It's about to go into it's an hour plus film and video.
It's called
what?
It's
called Jazz 34.
Right, Jazz 34.
Yeah, and remembrances of Kansas City swing.
Yeah. When you make a film like this, who are you trying to please? Robert Altman, and that's about it.
And my friends. And I hope I have enough to buy enough tickets to people who will be interested in the same thing. You know, if I did a film or anybody did a film that everybody liked, the common denominator is getting lower and lower and lower, and I don't do that. Nobody really does. You're making these films. I got something. I think everybody's going to love them, of course, and I'm quite shocked when some negative things come out about it, and invariably they do. I mean, I know that just from living as long as I've lived and having the experience of being bad at it.
Well, you've been at both ends. I mean, when you made The Player, genius was a word that they slapped.
Some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them.
Same thing was true about Nashville.
Yeah. Some of them not.
But when Pret-a-Porter came, they didn't love it.
Only in Europe.
Yeah, only in Europe they loved it.
In Europe.
But you had Sophia and Marcello and a lot of people that have big audiences over there. But I'm told that it really took a toll on you. It really was, in a sense, you were depressed about it.
It hurt my feelings.
Yeah, exactly.
But my feelings get hurt every time when somebody doesn't like what I do.
It's like for people to like your work.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised because I think, wow, I thought.
Then but does it free you somewhat? I mean, in a sense, do you say, all right, I mean, I've taken that, I'm going to go forward, and I'm going to make, they can't hurt me any worse than they did, so.
That's all probably goes into the equation, but the real truth of the matter is that I can't very well do anything except what I do. And any way I want to hustle myself it's going to come out the same way anyway.
In other words, if you went to the movie studio and said, listen, I want to make a movie that's going to be wildly commercial. I want to, listen to me, I want to make a, your eyes say.
I do that.
You do?
Oh, sure. I lie just like that.
You do? You walk in there with a straight face and say,
yes,
I want to sell tickets, boys.
That's absolutely correct, and I do. And I just am wrong, that's all.
But you lie.
Well, no, I'm not lying, because I mean
You're a believer.
It. Absolutely.
You went, and now, tell them how you sold Kansas City. What did you tell them?
Well, I said I've got this great movie. I didn't mention too much about the jazz because I didn't think they'd get that.
That would be a turnoff for them.
Yeah.
They wouldn't get that.
And so I just stressed the melodrama and the
I mean, Thelma and Louise a little bit here, and you know.
Yeah. That kind of pitch.
You drop those words and
absolutely.
Say, you know, it's Thelma and Louise in the 30s.
Yes.
And we got Miranda Richardson, and we've got Jennifer Jason Leigh. I mean, what more do you want? You know,
that's exactly.
We got Harry Belafonte playing a guy who takes his money around in a
the Black Godfather.
Yeah, the Black Godfather. Here you go. Marlon is Harry is Marlon.
Yeah, that was a real guy, that seldom seen character. Yeah. All those people.
Seldom seen is the character's name.
Yeah,
right.
all those people in Kansas City, except for Jennifer played and Dermot Mulroney, were based on real people.
Yeah, but here's what's interesting about it. They're based on real people, so there's your story. But in the building the characters, Harry leaned to, was his stepfather, his uncle, or somebody?
Yeah, his uncle. Uncle Lenny.
Somebody. Uncle, right. You, it is said that a couple of these characters are based on your mother, your sister, your somebody.
Yeah,
right?
A lot of different people. My father was kind of moved in the edges of that kind of questionable world.
All right. Why should we go see Kansas City?
Oh, just to please me. You should go see.
Because great music is easy.
If you like jazz, right. you can't miss it. If you don't mind jazz, it's really good. Yeah. And but if you hate jazz, don't go. No,
don't go.
No, because the story it's
at the core of the movie. It's the soul of the music.
It's
jazz.
It's also the shell of the movie.
Right. All right. Take a look at this. This is a clip from the Hey Hey Club, directed by Robert Altman. Here it is. The music is wonderful. I mean, this is doing very well as an album, isn't it?
Oh yeah, very well. And then we're following we have the hour version of just the music, just the band playing the music of the period will be on PBS in I think January.
A good place to be.
And then we've got the film of just the music, which is another version of the music, and it's playing a lot of jazz places. It's kind of a double-edged thing.
If you make movies like you make movies, do you prefer movies or film, or do you care?
I don't care.
Yeah. Is character the point for you? Is finding and therefore casting crucial?
Well, casting is the key, because these are all I can do is start with the idea, and then by the time I cast the film, 85% of my creative work's finished. And
how much?
85%.
By the time you cast it?
Yeah. Because
you've already laid out what the film is because of the script.
Kind of, yeah. But then I turn that over to these actors, and I just sit back there and watch. And what I want to see at that point, from the point on when we started shooting this, I want to see something I've never seen before. So I can't very well say, do this. I've got to try to inspire all of these people to push their own art, to flesh out these characters, and to be truthful about it, and give them the confidence that I'm not going to let them look silly. If they go a little too far and it's a little over, that it isn't going to appear on the screen. I'll get it out. So that's
and that makes them better.
It makes them,
the risk factor is reduced, so they can try, they can experiment.
Yes, they don't have to worry about how they're going to look or how they're going to appear. Yeah. And the truth of the matter is that's what they all became actors to do in the first place, to create. Not to come in and say it this way, say it that way, stand here, turn this way, there's the light, all of that. That isn't, they want to create, so they love it. And once they start loving it, what they're doing, I mean, all I got is sit back there and
not get in the way.
Yeah, not get in the way is right.
Yeah. I mean, it is amazing if you can sort of really, I mean, good directors, I guess, can also stimulate that by, A, providing security.
Yes.
And also the gift of freedom to do what you
and you can kick them a little bit and inspire them, and but that's what they want to do. And I don't understand. I admire actors so much because I don't understand how they do what they do, and I don't know what they do. No. I really don't. I mean, I sit there and I'm in awe that people can stand up there and say these lines that didn't come out of their head, that they've processed through themselves. I mean, I see Jennifer Jason Leigh, Harry, Miranda in this picture. Every one of them is nothing like the person that they really are. And they process this character, and next thing you know, I'm up there looking at stuff that's thrilling me.
What makes Harry?
Harry is Harry's. I admire Harry as much as I admire anybody that I know or have met. He's become a dear, dear friend. But Harry is true to himself. There's no bullshit about Harry. He gets to the verb, and he believes himself, and he trusts himself, and I trust him.
And he clearly has passion for his culture.
Oh, absolutely. And this movie, he really worked hard on this movie, and he loved doing this movie. And he just, because
he's the best salesman you got out there.
Oh, I know it. But he is so was able to be so truthful to this character. And he wrote it, all of his stuff, all of his solos. I mean, all of his raps. When I sent him the script, I talked to him about it. I told him about this seldom seen character, and I sent him the script, and he said, "Wait a minute, call me up." He said, "I haven't got any lines." I said, "Well, write them." I said, "Because I don't ever going to have you on screen that you're not talking."
This is not because you don't want to work hard. It's not because you don't want to do it. It's because it's the best end result.
I want the input. Why I'm going to sit there? I'm not going to sit there and write the opinions and the rap of a black man in this period and say, "Okay, say these words." Right. Harry knows what he wants to say. I don't know anything about Marcus Garvey. I didn't have that information in my bank. But suddenly all that came out, and everything that Harry talked about is just, it's wonderful. It's poetry. It's music. It's jazz.
He's also maybe the best-looking man around.
Well, I have a hard time with that, but he's okay, you know.
Yeah. I mean, he sits here, and the people, when he comes in, they go nuts.
Oh, I know.
You know, I mean, Harry's approaching, 70, and
he's approaching my age.
Yeah, that's right. All right, take a look at this. Another clip from Kansas City starring Jennifer. Well, before we play the clip, she plays the character. You set it up. This is the death penalty thing, but Jennifer Jason Leigh plays
Blondie,
right?
Who is a girl who is whose husband is kind of a two-bit crook,
right?
And he holds up. He puts on blackface,
and she's going to go kidnap somebody.
And she goes to kidnap this woman who is the wife,
right?
The wife of a politician who is an advisor for President Roosevelt. Yeah. She figures by doing that she can make it prisoner exchange.
Right.
But she's wrong.
Yes, she is. Here, roll tape. Jennifer Jason Leigh in Kansas City. Again, Kansas City. Robert Altman. Their next film is Amos and Andy. You co-produce. Harry's doing what?
Harry and I are doing this together.
Okay.
And we're doing the history. It's a big comedy, big history.
You still listen to Amos and Andy?
Oh, yeah, we got all the. Oh, I did, of course. And but we'll cover the radio days. That act was actually stolen by these two guys from Miller and Lyles, who were black vaudevillians, and it was lifted and changed. And anyway, it's a wonderful.
Great to see you here, sir.
It's terrific to see you again.
Robert Altman, Kansas City. Thank you for joining us this evening. We'll see you tomorrow night. Bob Dole makes his acceptance speech. We'll cover that. See you then.